Hey guys, I'm Erik Peterson, and I'm a men's dating and relationship coach for skillofattraction.com. And today's coaching video is called When She's Unresponsive After the First Date. Now, as many of you know, these coaching videos is when one of you guys writes into me, and if I think it's a question that would be beneficial to my viewers and my subscribers, I answer your question in a video. And in this email that I got from a viewer, he has recently reconnected with a girl that he knew from many years ago. He always had a crush on her, and he has been applying some of the stuff that he's learned from me with this girl, but he made a few mistakes along the way, and now she's not responding to him after this incredible first date. So I'm going to go through his email and see where he can clean things up a bit and see where he could take things from there. But if you guys have any questions, please feel free to send me an email. All you have to do is head over to my website at skillofattraction.com, click on the contact tab, and shoot me a message from there. All I ask is that you keep your questions and messages to me rather short and to the point, really just 1 to 2 paragraphs max. Otherwise, I'm just not going to have time to get through it. I've noticed some of you guys are still trying to sneak in some of those long emails, and I understand that you want to get everything in there, but if you want me to answer them for free, I should say, then you need to keep them short. Like I said, otherwise I'm just not going to have time to get through them. But I will get back to you as soon as I can in either a written response or a video response like I'm doing here today, where I keep all your personal information private. But I do have to get back to my paying clients first. So if you're just a little patient, I usually get back to you roughly about 2 weeks or so. I don't want to put a time limit on it because sometimes I just get bombarded by emails and I get very far behind. Other times it's not so bad. So you just have to be a little patient. But if you need to get in touch with me right away, or you want to dive deeper into your situation, the best way to do that is, again, head over to my website at skillofattraction.com. Click on the coaching tab, and there you'll see I have several options for you to choose from. I offer emergency email coaching, where I will also respond to you on weekends and holidays. And I also offer a bi-weekly and monthly email coaching, where I will work with you throughout that time period. Additionally, I offer phone coaching for my U.S. clients. Now, if you're outside of the U.S., I will have something for you guys in terms of phone or Skype coaching sometime in the future, but for right now, email coaching is the way to go. And I will post a link to both my contact page and my coaching page in the description down below. So let's get on to his email. He says, "Hey, Erik, I will do my best to keep my message brief out of respect for your time." Well, I appreciate that. Even though this email is a little bit on the long side, but obviously not so long that I'm using it for a video. Firstly, thank you so much for your time and work, as it has helped me improve the quality of my life immensely. Well, that's great. I really love hearing that from you guys, that I've helped you in so many different ways. That's really the payoff for me. He says, "I'm reaching out to seek your advice following a date I went on about a week ago, as I think your advice would be a huge help to me and many of your viewers. I recently connected with an old childhood friend who I had not seen in almost 10 years. She recently moved to my city, and I invited her out to catch up. I had the biggest crush on her as a kid, and seeing her again instantly rekindled all those feelings." Well, I just want you guys to know you really have to be careful when you're first learning this stuff and connecting with that old crush. I mean, I did this when I first began learning this stuff, and because I was just so excited about this girl who I had up on a pedestal for so long. I mean, I went to high school with her. I thought she was like one of the most beautiful girls in the world. And I mean, we were in the same social circle, so I did know her and did talk to her, but she never gave me the time of day. And all of a sudden, she was super interested in me, and I was just like bouncing off the walls in happiness and joy. And what ended up happening is I went into what I call the beta backslide, where all my old conditioning came back up to the surface, and I just totally blew it with her, just because I was so excited about this girl that I had up on this pedestal for so long was suddenly interested in me. So you have to be really careful with that. He says, "We went bar hopping, and afterwards she came over to watch a movie and have some drinks. From the moment I picked her up, we had instant chemistry. We talked as if we picked up right where we left off all those years ago. I honestly don't think I've ever clicked with another human being so effortlessly and organically before. We hung out for almost 8 hours straight. There was never a dull moment, and we had so much in common. Yeah, this is almost exactly the same experience I had when I went through the same exact thing. As I'm new to your work, I implemented some of your teachings, but I did make a few mistakes. Although she did most of the talking, I think it was like 60-40 split. Secondly, I think I may have been too aggressive in trying to hold her hand rather than letting her invite me. Well, the idea is to slowly build up to that. I mean, you do want her to invite you, but she's going to do that with very subtle signs. But it's still your job to kind of take the lead and push the boundaries just a little bit. You might start off with like playfully pushing her shoulder when you're joking with her, like, come on. And then maybe guide her to where you're gonna sit, or someplace in the bar or restaurant, by placing your hand on the small of her back for just like a second or two and just kind of guide her in that direction. And so you see what I'm saying? You slowly build it up, and you want to escalate this touching and watch for her signals to see if she's receptive to it or if she's just trying to get away from you. I mean, just because she's giving you no signs doesn't mean that she wants you to stop, but it also doesn't mean that she wants you to continue. So you have to pay attention, because sometimes girls won't give you any sign to see if you're going to back down. So it's almost like a really subtle test. But obviously, if she's cringing or pulling away from you or trying to stand far away from you or flat out telling you no, then you need to stop. Lastly, after the night was over, she asked me to text her once I got home, which I did, and then sent her an elaborate message about how great it was to see her after all these years. Well, that was a big mistake. I mean, sending this long, elaborate message telling her how great it was to see her and whatnot, I mean, you're essentially gushing and over-validating her. You have to understand that she knows that you were happy to see her just by the way you were behaving on the date and the chemistry that you guys had. You didn't need to re-explain it to her. And because, like I said, it comes off kind of like you're gushing, and she already knows all this stuff. You don't need to re-explain it to her. He says, my compliments were sincere and genuine and had nothing to do with her looks, although she's absolutely beautiful. Well, I know what you're saying, that I probably have said in some of my videos, which is right. You don't want to over compliment on her look, especially if she knows she's beautiful, because she hears that all the time. But it really doesn't matter, because you were gushing about how great it was to see her. So it kind of like flattened that out. He says, but I know I should have waited a week or so to text or call her to invite her out again, as I know after watching your videos. Although I made a few mistakes, after driving her home and walking her up, I went for the kiss, and we made out for a few minutes. Well, that's great. You did that right. And all you guys should, when you're going out on a first date, you should at least go in for the kiss at the end of the date and see how receptive she is for that. If she's not into it, she's going to give you the cheek or kind of work around you and go in for a hug, and then you know that she's not that interested right now. Doesn't mean that she won't be later. You always have to remember that sometimes no means not yet. So you just have to build up to it a little bit. But it doesn't always mean not yet. So again, you have to be very careful that you never want to force yourself on a woman ever for any circumstances. I just want to make that perfectly clear. Unfortunately, I did not feel like there was any hope for the indoor Olympics to happen. What he means there is he's talking about sex, and it's the first date. You hadn't seen her in 10 years. You really can't expect that much. So we hugged, and then I left. She responded to my text the next morning, and I kept it to 3 messages to ask her out again. We had so much in common and had a great time, and she even told me after kissing her that she'd love to see me again. But after texting her, she never responded. I have not texted her since. Well, that's good. And am now waiting for her to hit the ball back over the net. but wanted to reach out and get your thoughts if maybe I should try reaching out again. Thank you so much again, and I can't wait to see the continued personal growth as a result of your work. Well, I'm not sure exactly what you said in those 3 texts, but what I believe happened here is that you're coming across as just a little bit overeager. Not necessarily in those 3 texts, but maybe in that long, elaborate text that you sent her, or maybe throughout the night in some way, shape, or form. I mean, like I said, you gushed about how great it was seeing her, and when she responded, you took that as a sign that she wanted you to ask her out again, which may have been the case, but most likely she was just responding to your long gushing text from the night before. And you have to watch out for those things, because sometimes women respond just to be polite. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's time to ask me out again. What you should have done is waited for her to reach out maybe the next day on her own and kind of feel it out from there. Like I said, I don't know what happened in these 3 texts, so I can't really elaborate on that. But even though she asked you to let her know that you made it home safely, it would have been best not to do that at all and just let her wonder why she never heard from you. And I know that might come off as being a little rude. I was raised the same way. When someone speaks to you or asks you to do something, you respond, but you have to understand that women need to wonder about you. It's all part of building that mystery that women are so drawn to. And this wasn't by not responding to her, I should say, by not texting her as soon as you got home. There's nothing really rude about that. It's not that big of a deal. And she would have been left wondering, wonder why I haven't heard from so-and-so. Maybe I should reach out and see what he's up to. But after that, you wanted to wait like a week or so. And if you still haven't heard from her first, then what you should do is contact her and try to arrange a date. Basically, you just want to erase that whole scene of you writing that elaborate text and talking to her the next day. Just pretend like that didn't happen. Wait a week, reach out to her if you haven't heard from her yet, and try to arrange a date. Now, as a man, you do have to chase women a bit in the beginning to get the courtship going. I know I say that you shouldn't chase women, but in the beginning, you do have to chase women, because a lot of times women will be extra hard to get in the beginning just to see how bad you want it, how bad you want to see her again, and things of that nature. And they read about these things in like Cosmopolitan, and they get these things from their girlfriends, and they purposely wait or don't respond to you to see if you're going to chase them a little bit. However, if she's being unresponsive after you tried contacting her after a week to try arrange a date again, and she's still not being responsive, then you don't want to continue chasing her, because that's really a hint that she's not interested, at least in this moment. And I say in this moment because that could change down the road, but you don't want to keep chasing her because it lowers your value in her eyes. And there could be a number of reasons why she's not interested in this moment. I mean, perhaps you were coming on a bit strong on the date, maybe acting a bit overeager, as I already said. Maybe you said something throughout the date, or maybe in those 3 texts the next morning that turned her off a little bit. Or maybe there's another guy in the picture, or an ex. I mean, this is the first time you've seen this girl in a long time. You don't know if she's dating other guys or not. I mean, if she's a really beautiful woman, she's more than likely playing the field a little bit. So if she won't commit to a date and she's not responding after that, then you just want to back off a little bit and let her re-engage. If she likes you, she will be in touch with you sometime in the future. I mean, if you tried, you tried. And if she's not responding, there's not a whole heck of a lot you could do about it. And maybe she will reach out to you at another point, or maybe she won't. And again, there's not really a lot that you could do about it. You just have to continue seeing yourself as the prize regardless. And if she's not interested, then you just want to have the attitude that, hey, it's her loss. I will find another girl. As you have already experienced implementing some of the things that I have taught you, is working in your favor. So just keep doing that. Just keep moving forward, asking new girls out, going out on dates, and just keep applying all the things that you've learned from me, and watch the type of response that you get from other girls. So that's it for this video. I hope that you guys have found it helpful, and if you have, I would really appreciate a thumbs up and for you to share it with any of your friends and family. And I'd also really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button down below and tick that little bell symbol next to it so you get real-time notifications of when I upload new videos. And then the description down below, not only will I have a link to both my contact page and my coaching page, but I also have a link to PayPal if you deem this video worthy of a donation. So that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.